We finally made it. It's episode 100 of Talking Real. And this week, we're bringing you a year in review of everything great that has gone on at the Oklahoma Association of Realtors in 2019, right before the holiday season.
2020, here we come.
Welcome back to Talking Real, brought to you by the Oklahoma Association of Realtors. We've made it. Episode 100. We're in the studio with me, Jeff, and my every week co-host, Nabil. Nabil, how's your day?
Cold, Jeff. Cold.
Your day, Nabil, it's episode 100.
I know, this is warming it up. This is exciting.
Yes.
But walking in and leaving the house today was cold.
Yes. Well, we've also brought in a special guest this week, the person who really, if you want to think about it, is the one who's responsible for making all of this happen on Talking Real, the CEO of the Oklahoma Association of Realtors, Jessica Hickok. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Hey, guys. Happy 100th episode.
Yay!
We're so excited. This is amazing. 100 episodes every week, never a week off. And I just want to brag about that for a minute.
100 episodes a week is tough.
Yeah. And really, we had to bring Jessica in because you go back 101 weeks ago and Nabil and I said, hey, we've got an idea. And she was like, you know what? I think it's great. Let's see how it works. So let's make a podcast. And here we are 100 episodes later.
I tell everyone it was my idea.
Okay. It probably was your
I'm
idea,
joking.
actually. I think it might've been. And we just stole it from you. So
That's what we do.
But man, yeah, it's been exciting. I can't believe it personally, but super excited we made it to episode 100.
I had no doubt.
I will tell you guys, I have listened to every single episode, every single one of them.
We appreciate that.
That's also a feat.
Yes.
It took me a minute to get through Mr. Brad Reesers, but I did eventually.
We'll get ready because Brad's coming back soon. So,
I'm kidding. He's great.
you know, it's certainly a lot learned over the last 100 episodes. I would like to think that we have gotten better at this and that we're still able to bring valuable content to people 100 episodes later. And it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
It's been great.
You guys have done great work.
yeah, we'll see. Maybe another 100. Woo.
Whew.
We'll see.
We'll make it. No doubt. No doubt.
No doubt. Nabila's no doubt. Well, this week on Talking Real, we are now here at the end of 2019. I almost said 2018. It's a full year past that. End of 2019. And we wanted to bring just kind of a little bit of a special episode and give you a year in review of the Oklahoma Association of Realtors to kind of wrap up 100 episodes, the end of 2019 and taking us into 2020. And you know, a lot of people that listen are real involved with the association, come to conferences, things like that. Some people maybe less so. And we wanted to kind of give some information about what we've been up to this year, what all's gone on, and just brag about the association a little bit broader and some of the cool things that we've been able to do this year.
Yeah. Some of these you might have already heard or were involved in, and some of these you might be thinking, wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So that's also why we wanted to bring our CEO in, because of course she is the ringleader of this rowdy bunch of staff at the Oklahoma Association of Realtors. And
I like how you just defaulted to staff.
and so we wanted to talk about some of these exciting things. So Jessica, what would you say? Is it, out of 10, what was 2019? On a scale of 1 to 10?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say definitely a solid 9.9.
Okay.
You got to give a little leeway there.
Little room for improvement.
Yeah, little room. But no, every day has been a good day. Some challenging more than others, but that's what's made it fun.
Absolutely. And at the end of the year, we're going to finish strong and have a good start into 2020.
You
Indeed.
got to do 0.1 more in 2020.
There you go. Give it a 10. So we've already talked about the podcast, 100 episodes, and if you're listening, you've been here for that. But we've done a lot of cool stuff at the association, and some of it is a little more mundane, and some of it is kind of exciting. But even the mundane things are really, really important in trying to make the association run a little bit better. And one of the big things that I got really excited about this year was professional standards. We've done a lot with professional standards. It's been a very busy year, but I think one of the cool things we did this year was mandatory mediation for all of our arbitration cases. So, yeah.
We did. Yeah. And you guys did a great job. If I can scale it back just a hair with that and say that the governance structure of OAR is with the board of directors, and the board of directors met 3 times this year. In between those board of directors meetings, the executive committee meets, and it was a big deal when at the first of the year they took a look at everything that's going on with professional standards administration. They looked at what was coming down from NAR and said, yeah, we're going to make mediation mandatory before actually moving something on for a hearing. And that was a wise decision on their part to do that.
I think so. I mean, the arbitration process is, somewhat, there's conflict there, right? I mean, you're in a hearing and you're having to prove your side, but making the parties go to mediation beforehand in an effort to more informally sit down with an independent mediator and just talk to each other and try to work it out. And I think we've had great success. We have resolved a number of cases just through the mediation process. I mean, we've had just 1 or 2 that weren't successful in mediation that did go on to hearing or to the next steps. But being able to resolve those informally, I mean, everybody leaves, I think, a little bit better situation then, at least it's a little bit friendlier and more informal. And just getting our brokers and realtors sitting down talking to each other, I think that was a really cool thing to do to sort of take the edge off of that arbitration process and just get people talking. And I think that's a really cool thing we can do for our members.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is that if you go forward with the hearing, it's all or nothing. If you take the time to mediate it, you can actually work out an agreement between the parties that is mutually acceptable to all the parties, rather than just saying it's all or nothing. You either win or you lose if you go all the way to a hearing. So this just provides an extra step, almost an extra point to work through it. And, if you're not familiar with the Professional Standards Administration program, OAR actually offers this as a member benefit. We have an agreement with every single one of our local boards, 18 local boards across the state, where we handle the stuff in-house. So if there is an ethics complaint or if there's a request to arbitrate, we can take care of that in-house here. And it saves us from airing out dirty laundry. It saves us from going to the courts and clogging up the courts with issues. Realtors actually are very good to work with each other and collaborate and cooperate and actually work things out among themselves. So it's been a great thing.
I agree.
And another fantastic benefit is the time frame, right?
It's much quicker.
Things just happen a lot quicker. You can move on a lot faster.
Yep.
And it's great.
Absolutely.
Mediation's a good thing.
For sure. So we're going to keep improving on that process and ramping up professional standards and making sure everybody's aware of that system out there and all that's available. And hopefully we just keep getting better and better at that. Switching gears a little bit, we had a huge year in government affairs. Mm-hmm. And Jessica, you talk about the 3 pillars of what we do at the association. And one of the primary ones is our advocacy. And we've talked about this a number of times on the podcast and have given you breakdowns of all our legislation, but it bears repeating of how successful of a year we had in government affairs.
I will take it one last shot for 2019. This will make it, go from 9.9 to 10.10 because I can say that we as a team, staff, members, government affairs, we got 3 out of 3 bills passed that we had. So yeah, that's a huge win for us. That's a big fat 100 there too. So
absolutely,
that was exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think the legislation, it's got some feel good to it because it's not just for realtors. I think the big one for the realtors, business-wise, was that marketing clarifications where we cleaned up that buyer inducement language. And I've already seen a number of people out there with some of their new marketing ideas and things that they're doing out there. And I love to see all the things people are taking advantage of. But also our home buyer savings account, which is going to be a huge thing for just people out there that want to save that money for a down payment on a house, the cost of closing on a house, those kinds of things, and the remote online notary it's just moving up into a more technologically friendly way of doing things that will hopefully help closing process and things like that. So it's exciting.
Yeah, we kind of did a little something for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
We did. You know, we're very fortunate too that we have a lot of friends that are in the legislature, and our friends there, specifically the named legislators of the year with Senator Paul Racino and Representative Tammy West. We were fortunate to have them sign on to our bills as well and help us, along with some others. But it's a good thing to make friends wherever we go, and we're lucky that the Realtors are such friendly people.
Absolutely, because we showed up to the Capitol and had almost universal support for a lot of the things that we were doing, but a lot of that is attributed to all the groundwork that was done. All of our members, the Realtors showing up at Capitol Conference, things like that, and getting in front of their legislators and telling your story. So we appreciate everybody engaging in that, and all of our friends down at 23rd and Lincoln in the legislature. It's fantastic. Somewhat similar, we also kind of helped run a campaign this year. Not necessarily one for state office, but if you recall, when was this? This was like middle of the year sometime, I guess.
Right around May. I think it was right around mid-year conference.
Yeah, the legislative conference.
Yeah, so Holly Woodward was running as first vice president of RRC, the Residential Real Estate Council. We had a good time with this. This was kind of a fun little project that we helped her with her campaign, which was kind of exciting.
We had a great opportunity to support our own, and Holly is a realtor, a broker out of Tulsa, and she has really made some inroads with the Residential Real Estate Council, formerly CRS, but they also confer upon others the CRS designation, the Certified Residential Specialist. Holly has been very involved with a lot of the work that OAR has done, and the board of directors and the executive committee, everybody decided to get behind her and use some of our funds to help get her campaign going and to really get her name out there. Her credibility stands on its own, but it was nice to put together some fun brochures and flyers and T-shirts and all the fun stuff to really promote Holly and get her name out there in front of people.
Yeah, it was a really fun opportunity to tell her story. So kind of take her as a member and as a realtor and an expert and really tell her story and push it forward.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of fun.
We had a very enjoyable time having her on the podcast back then, so you can go check that out if you didn't have a chance to hear a little bit more about Holly Woodward and that huge honor of being elected by her peers to be an upcoming leader in RRC and to kind of run the show nationally for RRC. That's a huge deal, and it's great for Oklahoma to have our people out there representing. So very exciting.
Yeah, so she'll be the first vice president next year.
Yeah.
2 more weeks, Holly.
I hope she's ready to take her spot in the, what would it be? A White House of RRC? What would they?
The Blue House?
The Blue House?
I don't know.
The House of Blues. Oh, wait, no.
So we also try to make sure that we're engaging with other associations out there, and there's a lot of things that go on with that. But one of the nice things we were able to do, as Oklahomans, we are unfortunately sometimes very deeply familiar with the impact of natural disasters. And this happens in other states as well. And it's always nice to see realtors be able to come to the support of other realtors. And we were able to do this because there was some significant flooding in Nebraska, quite a bit going on there. And we had the opportunity to, and fortunately with our generous members, the ability to send some money out to Nebraska as well.
Yes, we were very fortunate that the executive committee had taken some time to give some flood relief to the Nebraska Association of Realtors. You're right, they were inundated with floods earlier this year, and we try really hard to support other associations that are in needs, and I think that OAR has done a fantastic job of doing such that.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So not everything ends up the way you foresee, though, and we're going to talk a little bit about some of the proposal that we had earlier this year that came out from a variety of process. We had a proposal to modify our board of directors. Our board of directors is a 130 some odd members, depending on
134.
134 right now. And so there was a proposal to reduce the size of our board of directors. I mean, we went through a lot of process. We had a presidential advisory group. The executive committee looked at it. Board of directors looked at it. Membership looked at it. And it was at that point with our membership meeting that the proposal actually failed. This was kind of a very big modification we were looking at, some almost board of directors size reform that we were looking at. And we got a lot of interesting feedback, and that proposal actually died. So, it's interesting though to see kind of how that happened. And what's nice is being a member-run organization, we had that opportunity to hear from our members, and we're going back to the drawing board. We're taking that. So not necessarily focusing on the fact that it went down, but what's the positive that's coming out of that, and what can people maybe look forward to?
There's a lot of positives that are coming out of this. And being very frank, I don't think this was a failure by any means. I think that this was a very good thing for us. One thing that we try to do is we try to be very efficient in getting things done. This industry changes so quickly. And in hindsight, looking back, I think that where the executive committee and leadership teams may have tried to be a little too efficient, and that is we tried to get it done to be effective for next year, and it felt rushed. The one thing I think that everyone can agree on is that our board of directors is a very large size, and there are all sorts of reasons why you wouldn't want such a large board of directors, because it's hard to make decisions quickly, it's hard to turn things around quickly, and it's hard to handle a lot of things that need attention right away. I think, like I said, in hindsight, if we could have slowed it down and said, okay, we need to take more time for feedback, allowed more time for feedback. So the reason why I don't feel that it's a failure is that the meeting was good because it brought the feedback out. We got some very raw feedback, but also very good feedback about what our members think and feel and understand about our association. It was great that they feel that they are part of the association, that they could speak up on that. So in the end, it was actually really good for us because you know why? We saved a lot of time and energy on a member survey because we got a lot of answers that we needed that day. Now, I say that jokingly, but we have realized that in order to make something happen, it's a big ship to turn around, and it's going to take time to turn it around. So in the end, I think the goal is to go back to the drawing board. The Presidential Advisory Group did add some more people to the group, so it's very well represented across the state. They will be meeting again after the first of the year to take a look at the project again and basically allow more time for feedback, whether that be through focus groups or surveys or one-on-one meetings. We'll put into the budget coffee meetings so we can go and sit down and have coffee with people and say, okay, tell us how you envision this coming together, because it is a large ship, but you put a lot of heads together, we can come up with something great, and I have a feeling that's where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I think it's a great opportunity to learn about how these things work, and it's something that nobody's really done before, right? We've had this large board of directors for a long time, and so part of our strategic vision that we'll talk about here in just a second was to become more efficient. Part of that was reducing that size of that board of directors, and so I love the way that we can get that feedback and then go back to the drawing board and say, okay, let's do a better job this time, and let's stay at it and continue on with that vision, but make sure that we're getting all those voices heard and getting all that feedback, and that we do something that works for everybody. So, and I think that's where we'll end up.
Yeah, and it was encouraging to see that no one just came out and said no. They were always proposing
some sort of alternative or something like that. Yeah, you're absolutely on the right track.
Yeah. Well, as we start wrapping up this episode, we've had a number of other things that we've done this year. And one of the things that many people are familiar with are all the various conferences and events that we've had. And I think, I haven't been around that long, but I think we did a really fantastic job this year. I mean, we had some well-attended and great feedback from people on all the various conferences that we had this year. And I think it really kind of our three major ones. Our Capital Conference is where it started out. And man, it was huge. We were downtown. We had the governor came and spoke. I thought that was hugely successful. And of course, it panned out with all of the wonderful legislation that we got passed. And of course, our Reignite conference that we have every year, and just a week ago, we kind of wrapped up with our broker summit, and that was kind of a unique take on it. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback on that. And so I know we've had hundreds of people that have attended these over the course of the year. And so what do you think? What was your favorite conference moment of the year, or what did you like about our various conferences that we've planned this year, Jessica?
Oh, Capital Conference was off the charts this year. That turned out fantastic. To have the governor come and speak to us and give us the time and attention that he did. Thank you, Governor Stitt. Thank you for all of the people that brought that together, because it did take a village to get that off the ground, and it went fantastic. So that was my highlight conference was Capital Conference, OAR's Capital Conference. And, that makes it a goal that we're going to top that and do something even bigger. So what that all consists of, I know the plans are being developed right now, so you might just want to plan on it. It's March 3rd and 4th here in Oklahoma City. Plan on attending, because it's going to be phenomenal again.
Yep,
Absolutely.
put it on your calendars.
Yep, and we'll, as always, bring more information about that on Talking Real to you too. Nabil, what about you? What was your highlight of the year in the various events?
I think my favorite part of the events is kind of working towards the event and then seeing it unfold, right? And I don't know if I can pick a favorite event, but it was a lot of fun because we got a lot more creative with our events, which was exciting. And just watching all of that unfold was a lot of fun.
I agree. I'm going to be selfish and also say, since we're on Talking Real, I really had a great time doing a live Talking Real podcast recording at Reignite.
Yes.
That was pretty incredible.
That was fun. Got to do it for continuing education.
I think we should do that every conference.
And then you were featured on the front page of the Journal Records that next day. That was pretty amazing.
That
was a nice little surprise.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, and we wouldn't be able to do that if it weren't for all of our fantastic listeners who do keep coming back week after week, so that Jessica here says, keep on having that podcast because people keep coming back and listening. So
once the listeners, as long as the listeners stay, we'll be here.
Absolutely. So the last thing to close with is we did come into 2019 with a new strategic vision for OAR. We went through a whole strategic planning process. We had local presidents and association executives come in, offer a bunch of feedback, and develop this new plan. And so I just wanted to kind of get, Jessica, if you could just kind of boil that down into like one thing that you're really excited about moving into 2020 that's going to be a part of that strategic vision and where we're going. What's something that you think people should be looking out for, should be excited about?
I think that the most exciting thing that's going to be coming down is the launch of Oklahoma.real estate. This website that is being built is going to be a great opportunity for our members to have a place to advertise their properties, but not have to fight all of the other issues that they may have with other larger websites. This is a way for our members to get their properties out there, but also a way for us to help promote the value and the importance of using a realtor. It's going to have a great content piece on everything you need to know about using a realtor, and it has to the traffic that's going to be going to the website is going to be because of what our members are producing, and that's fantastic. So there's a lot of exciting things around the corner that I know all the right people are putting their heads together on and getting it done.
I'm super excited about that as well. We haven't really had a chance to talk about that on the podcast, but you just got a very brief little forecast of some excitement that's coming down the pipeline. And, I'm sure we'll be bringing more about that to you. You'll also be reading your emails from OAR and everything else, because all that's going to be rolling out over the course of 2020 and everything else. So,
well, and hopefully you guys will invite me back on this podcast when it's actually ready to get somewhere with it. So right now it's in the very infancy stages, and we are getting, all the right people involved that need to be there to make the decisions on how this is going to play out.
It's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I think the future is bright. And again, we thank everybody for so much of their involvement. We actually just found out in the last week or so, I think maybe just last couple of days, that for the third year in a row, the Oklahoma Association of Realtors is going to be getting the President's Cup again, which is, this is just all the hard work that goes into this. It's RPAC investment and participation. It's signing up for text alerts. It's all these various things that are required to happen from our members, right? Our members have to get engaged. It's not stuff that we can do as staff. It's the members have to go and do all these things. And it's a big honor, and especially to get that now a third year in a row. I mean, that's been a lot of hard work by a lot of different people, and that's an exciting honor that wanted to kind of close us out with that.
It is an exciting honor. The last 3 years have been great. And I will tell you, although it's not official because they don't actually give the awards, they announce the awards in May. So I guess for technical terms, I think it's safe for us to say we've met all the criteria to hit the President's Cup.
Okay, there you go.
Do you see my air quotes here?
We have a little asterisk with the 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
But you know what? We do. However, I will tell you that does not stop me from saying these last 3 years have been incredible. These last 3 years, we have done so many great things and so many really incredible, monumental things for this association. Our members are super excited to be part of it. We're super excited to be here, and it's been fun. It's been a fun ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a great 2019.
A great 2019.
Cannot wait for 2020. It's going to be a fantastic year. And we do want to tell everybody, we hope you have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year. We made it to episode 100. We're taking a vacation.
Good. You guys need one. You earned it.
The next 2 weeks are going to be Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. And so we're giving everybody a break from Talking Real so you can spend some time with your family and not be distracted with listening to us.
Because as soon as the episode comes out, you have to listen to it.
Stop what you're doing and listen. So we'll be back in January with episode 101. We're going to get 2020 started off great and going to keep bringing you content from Talking Real throughout 2020. And we just thank you so much for your participation and making this podcast such a fun and exciting thing and the success that it's been.
Thank you.
Thank you, and happy holidays.
See you in 2020 on Talking Real.